power of a college degree can transform a student's life, their family's life, and their community. We believe that students from across Chicago, from every community, every neighborhood, every zip code, deserve an opportunity to achieve that goal. For students who are from under-resourced communities, who are first in their families to go to college, who attend high schools that have historically been left behind as it relates to college and career readiness and college planning. We believe that students should have equitable access to that.
The mission of Bottom Line is to really empower all of these wonderful students, these capable students, these inspiring students, and allows them to have a path to get into and to graduate from college, both through an access program and a success program, so that they, upon graduation, can go out and make generational and transformational changes in their lives, in their families' lives, and those of their community.
Bottom Line's Access program is one that works with seniors in high school to plan for college, envision themselves in college, and then complete all the necessary steps that go into getting into college, and complete financial aid forms and things that are really cumbersome and overbearing.
Having a model where you have advisors who are very in tune with the students' needs allows them to serve as more effective partners, advocates, and quite frankly, friends. They know what it takes to make this change, to walk this path. They have a true partner walking hand in hand with them as they work to achieve their goals.
It comes from a place of trust and a place of safety, being able to come in and share many of the experiences and the obstacles. And I definitely wanted to be that person who I would have wished would brought that support for me when I was going through that journey.
They know they have someone to walk them through what the process looks like and to be able to enjoy it as well.
We prioritize working with students who are from households that are below the poverty line.
The financial decisions that the students are making is extremely important. Bottom Line has developed an incredible, powerful data set and system focusing on college affordability, so that the students, when they graduate, can go and work in the field of their choice, just like any other college graduate should be able to do, without having to worry about being overburdened by student loans or other financial considerations that curtail the choices that they make later on in life.
Bottom Line doesn't stop just there. Our Success program works with students once they've graduated from high school and are off to college. We have 13 partner colleges here in the Chicagoland and Illinois region, supporting them as they're navigating new freedoms, new responsibilities.
We partner with our students in a lot of different ways that aren't limited to the academic part of the college experience. That includes how to write a resume and especially have externships.
These opportunities are able to provide students with really great networking, connections, understanding also the interviewing process. There are challenges that can come up for some of our students who might derail them from their college journey, and Bottom Line is able to support them through our Go Far Fund. They have been able to get some support with housing, with utilities, with groceries, which has really made the difference in having peace of mind for them and their families and being able to focus entirely on their education and their academics.
Bottom Line started here in Chicago in 2014, and we started with serving 72 students. Today, in 2022, we're proud to serve over 1,500 students annually. We know from our work in Chicago that there are many hundreds and thousands of students who deserve and desire to go to college but don't have the resources.
Rise Up is both a call to action for the community to support Bottom Line and our students, and also is a celebration of what our students have done. They have risen up, taken control of their lives, of their college path, evidence that they are ready to meet that call to action, and all we need is for our community to support them in doing that.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Can we just, I know we're just kicking things off, but I feel so inspired by watching that video. Can we just give Bottom Line another round of applause? Great organization. All right, so my name is Jewel Hillary, and I am so excited to be here with you all tonight. I feel some big energy in this room, and I just feel like tonight is going to be a fantastic night of celebration. Again, my name is Jewel Hillary, and I am a reporter for WGN. And before I get into a little bit about myself, I just wanted to kind of express that in terms of the video that we just saw, that is just a fraction of what Bottom Line does in the Chicago community and honestly in cities across the country, helping our students out. So again, I am thrilled to be here with you tonight for Rise Up 2023 as we celebrate Bottom Line. Now, when I first learned about Bottom Line, this organization that honestly helps to support and pour into first-generation college students, many of those students who look like me, who come from humble backgrounds and beginnings like me, I honestly fell in love with the mission and the passion of this organization. I told myself I'll do whatever I can to help them continue to thrive and to succeed. And so just a little bit about myself and how I feel connected to Bottom Line. So I grew up here in Chicago. I'm a Chicago native. I grew up on the north side of Chicago in the Edgewater community. Grew up in a two-bedroom garden apartment with my mother, who is joining me here tonight. And yes, that's my mom. Didn't grow up with a ton of money, but definitely had all the support in the world. And so, starting out in kindergarten, I went to Newberry Mathematics and Science Academy. Miss Faruda was my kindergarten teacher. I could truly tell you all of the teachers that I had in elementary school, but because of time, I won't share all of that, but just truly the way that they impacted my heart and my life. I can tell you exactly who they are and their inspiration into where I am now. After Newberry, I went on to Von Steuben on the northwest side. I would take the CTA in the morning, two buses back, and ultimately that is where I graduated from. And so I stand before you today as a proud product of a CPS education. Yes, thank you, CPS. My parents, they did have the ability to go to college, but they always instilled in me the importance of a college education. And again, I didn't grow up with a ton of money, but that was not going to be a deterrent in terms of going to college and getting my degrees. So after CPS, I went on to the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, which I know is one of the target schools, yes, go Illini, and then went on to get my grad degree at the University of Illinois, Springfield. And I know that the transition from high school to college, it can be daunting, it can be very overwhelming, those of us that have gone through that experience. But one of the things that I love about Bottom Line is the fact that they are that support, that intentional support around these students as they are going through this process from high school on to college. And I'm sure as I wrap up with these introduction remarks, you all are familiar with the African proverb, it takes a village to raise a what? A child, yes. It takes a village to raise a child. And Bottom Line is that village for these young people, is a part of that village for these young people, many of whom are students of color, not all of them, but many of them who are students of color and have everything in them to excel and to succeed. But like anybody, they just need that extra hand of support to wrap around them to make sure that they make it to the finish line in terms of graduation, to propel them onto their bright future. And so I have fallen in love with Bottom Line. I'm so excited to be here again with you all tonight to learn more about what the organization is doing. And with that, I am going to just thank you all for being here tonight and send things on over to Will Hobart, who is the fantabulous executive director of Bottom Line Chicago.
Wow, thank you, Jewel, for that amazing, wonderful, energetic introduction. What a way to kick off Bottom Line Rise Up 2023. I know I'm personally grateful, as well as everybody at the Bottom Line team and family, to have you serving as our MC this year, and deeply appreciate you sharing your personal connection and your authentic story. Having grown up here in Chicago, attending a high school that we work with closely, as well as a Target College, means a lot to us, and appreciate how you see the purpose of our mission, the impactful work of our advisors, and the incredible potential in the students that we work with every day. Your story also includes many of the key assets we see in the thousands of students we partner with: ambition, problem solving, the importance of family and community, commitment, loyalty, and vision. As Jewel said, my name is Will Hobart, and I have the privilege of serving as Executive Director of Bottom Line in Chicago. Again, welcome tonight to Rise Up 2023. Tonight, we come together for the second year in a row after the ruthless and devastating impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. I am grateful for this opportunity for the Bottom Line community of current students, alumni, staff, board of directors, and champions to safely gather to celebrate the incredible accomplishments of students who have partnered with Bottom Line this past year, over 1,600 to be exact. This evening is about celebrating the grit, determination, and success that students of Bottom Line have demonstrated. Tonight is also a call to action to ensure thousands of deserving and talented Chicago students can get to college, can graduate, and go far in the years to come. Your support tonight means everything, and we couldn't do our programs without it. I want to take a moment and thank the dedicated leaders and champions that serve on Bottom Line Chicago's Regional Advisory Board. Can I please ask all members of the board to please stand to be recognized? Your generosity and commitment to our students and the Bottom Line staff is unwavering. You spread the word about our impactful work, and you give us a platform to tell stories of transformation and ensure we have a room full of amazing people for celebratory events like tonight. I also want to thank and recognize members of our Emerging Leaders Council. The members of this talented group are rising stars, several of whom are Bottom Line alumni. They all do a wonderful job championing our mission and impact. Can I please have members of the ELC stand to be recognized? We are grateful to our community partners and business leaders who have supported us in our mission over the years through financial contributions and in-kind donations. This generosity has enabled us to provide students with the highest quality coaching, resources, and services, and have enabled us to expand our reach and impact. I want to thank and recognize members of the Bottom Line national leadership who made the trip to Chicago for tonight's celebration. Steve Colon, who you heard from just a few minutes ago, our fearless and visionary Chief Executive Officer. Shawia Hamilton, our Chief Regional Officer, and Shannon Donnelly, our Chief Operating and Financial Officer. Thank you for being here tonight and for all you do to support the local impact here in Chicago. To our dedicated staff at Bottom Line, we extend our heartfelt appreciation for your tireless efforts in supporting our students. Your commitment and dedication are the driving force behind our success. You are the backbone of our organization, and we are grateful for your hard work and unwavering passion. A special thank you to Monica, Robin, and Ira, the development team, for all your hard work tonight and making tonight happen and attention to detail. I'd love for all my teammates at Bottom Line to please stand to be recognized. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Finally, and certainly not least, I want to recognize and give deep gratitude to all of the Bottom Line student ambassadors and all the Bottom Line students in the room, BLSAs, as we refer them, and students. Can you please stand to be recognized? You are all the heart and the soul of our mission. Your determination and commitment to your education inspires us every day, and we are honored to walk alongside you in this journey, and we're proud to be a part of your support system. Your success is our success, and we can't wait to see all that you will accomplish in the future. All right. I want to, as you're settling in and enjoying your salads, I want to call attention to a couple things on your table as you kind of engage over the course of the evening in the stories that you're going to hear on stage and the speakers you're going to hear from. I want to take a few moments just to talk about the critical importance and the tangible impact your generous donations have. If you take a look on your table, each of you should have gotten a program book for the evening. I have one up here. On the inside cover, there is a place that says 2 ways to donate tonight. One, text RISE UP to a phone number there, as well as a QR code you can scan to enter our raffle. I wanted to just call out a couple things. RISE UP is not case sensitive when you text it, but it does need to be one word. And smartphones are super smart these days and try to automatically put that space in there between RISE UP. So you have to close the space, otherwise it'll say error and you won't be able to get to the right page. But all seriousness aside, transformative gifts tonight and transformative gifts over the year have a real meaningful impact on the ability that Bottom Line has to support our students. Again, there's a list of this on your table in front of you, and you'll see it when you click on the link or when you text RISE UP to that phone number. But I just want to call out a few things. A $5,000 gift, for example, is transformative, and that it puts a Bottom Line advisor, and there are many Bottom Line success and access advisors here tonight in the room, and I encourage you to meet them and talk with them about their impactful work and the relationships that they build with students. A $5,000 gift enables those advisors to be in the lives of students, one-on-one, building that relationship, responding to students when they have questions, and proactively supporting them through the many complicated questions that come up as they plan for college and navigate college. For $2,500, we have counseling staff that are working, our partners, every single day in Chicago high schools, working with students to support their vision to college. We also know that the average high school counselor is working with literally hundreds of students on their caseload. And that makes it really difficult because there's so many hours in the day for them to provide the hands-on support to every single student at the amount of the detail that each student may require. And so our Access program partners with those high school counselors to ensure that students have the additional support through our Access program to navigate all of the pieces of envisioning and getting into college. And so a $2,500 gift makes that possible. For $1,000, our organization tagline is Get In, Graduate, and Go Far. And our success team takes great pride in the years that we work with students in college, that we are not only supporting their academic vision, but helping them translate academic passions and interests into what does that mean for me in a career. And so many of you in this room play a key role in this. Just a quick thought exercise for everybody. If you think about when you were in college, and for some people in the room, that might be a few years ago. For others, that might be several decades. But if you think about when you were in college and you have the ability, Vision 2020 hindsight, to think back, what was a conversation you had? What was an internship you got to do? What was an experience you had that influenced how you got your first job, where you landed after college, and certainly where you are today? Those are the memories, those are the experiences our success advisors look to create for our students. And $1,000 gifts ensures that we are able to provide the resources to them to be able to do that successfully. As we get to the smaller donations amount, they're all really meaningful and important, and I envision you to just think about when you were in college, again, if you parked your car somewhere and you got a parking ticket, or back when we had libraries that people would go check out books, and if you got a late fee, those fees still exist, and in Chicago there's actually a lot more fees, and if you don't pay your fees, you can actually be held from registering for the next semester classes. And so we've learned in our program, when we take great pride in making sure our students are navigating those kinds of barriers that come up for them that can knock them off track to graduation. because a lot of times financial aid or scholarship dollars can't be used for things like that. And so $250, $500, those gifts really ensure that we're able to provide, we call it responsive aid, because we really try to be responsive to the many needs that our students may have. And then finally, this is a fun one, but a really, really important one. Who doesn't remember in college if you got a package from a family member or a loved one, maybe during midterms or sometime in the semester where you were like, I can't do this anymore, I'm super stressed and I'm super tired, you got a pick-me-up package in the mail. Our staff have taken great pride over the years, across all our regions, but certainly it's a thing in Chicago, that we send care packages to students twice a year. It's something they receive in the mail, it's got goodies in it, it's got swag, it's got fun stuff, and it's just an opportunity for us to tell students, we're here to support you, we're listening, we're supporting you, we're cheering you on through midterms. And so for $100, that can make a care package possible for a student. And again, we love the corporate partners that have worked with us in doing care packages, helping us package them. It's a big thing. It's an assembly line. It's a big thing to kind of put them all together to send them out to the hundreds of students that are in college each year in our programs. So thank you for bearing through that with me, but I hope that that gives you an opportunity to kind of see and make connections that the dollars that we're asking to be pledged tonight, the funds that we're raising, aren't just kind of into the abyss, but really go to the core programmatic experience that we know are impactful and transformative for the experiences that our students have, and help them have that sense of community and sense of belonging as they go through their high school and college experience. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Jewel.
All right, thanks so much, Will. So as Will was giving his remarks, he reminded me of the importance of care packages when I was in college. I remember getting some care packages of Garrett's popcorn, and that got me through some nights at U of I. So thank you so much, Will, for your remarks. And I'm not sure if I mentioned it. I was just so excited. I'm your MC tonight, so you're gonna see a little bit of me up here throughout the evening. And typically, I would be chasing a story somewhere in the city or in the suburbs, but I'm just so grateful to, transition a little bit tonight and be here with you all. So again, thank you for allowing me to be a part of this wonderful program. So I kind of feel like I've lived 9 lives in the sense that I've done a lot. And aside from being in television, I've worked as a director of development for a nonprofit in Jackson, Mississippi. And so I know the importance of events like this and trying to persuade people to invest and to give. And so just as Will mentioned just a few minutes ago, it is so very important to continue to pour into these young students, many of whom I met earlier this evening, and they just warmed and touched my heart. So I thank you all. Just bring me back to high school and to college and just being in that season of life. But you can contribute all throughout the evening, so I encourage you to do that. Contributions, whether it's $5 or $50,000, every penny, right, every penny adds up. It all matters. And so I have just recently found out that we have, bless this person, an anonymous donor who is matching new contributions up to $10,000. And so yes, let's give that person a round of applause for sure. And so I think I mentioned that I attended Newberry Mathematics and Science Academy. However, clearly I'm in journalism, math and science is not my thing, but I do know what matching means. And so $25, if you put 25 in, that means 50, 10,000, 20,000. So again, every penny counts, and I encourage you all to invest and to give what you can to this wonderful organization, Bottom Line Chicago. All right, now I'm going to continue on with our program, and we are going to hear from Joshua Chavez, who was a National Louis University alum, and he is going to introduce one of our first honorees. So Joshua, come on up to the stage.
Hello everyone, my name is Joshua Chavez. It feels like a long time ago now when I graduated from Sari Good in 2018. That fall, I started at DePaul University and was paired up with a Bottom Line advisor. I hit a detour, and I ended up transferring from DePaul to Daly. to earn my associate's degree. I was still dead set on earning my 4-year degree and ultimately transferred to National Louis University to pursue a major in computer science information systems with a minor in business administration. I stand in front of you today having finished all my undergraduate classwork in April, and I will be crossing the stage and receiving my diploma on June 24th of this year. Thank you. I'm also excited to share that I'll be starting as an associate financial representative, executive assistant at Northwest Mutual Wealth Management Company. My experience at NOU was a great one. I was able to further my education, build upon my knowledge of technology, and further develop my understanding of software and hardware. I made lasting friendships at NOU. I was part of a community that could support me, and vice versa, I can support them. We all know community is essential for one to thrive. What makes a great community? For one, it's the people that are part of it and the leaders of that community. I have the honor today to introduce a leader of National Louis University and a trailblazer in education in the city of Chicago. Arti DePelia is the Vice President and Founding Dean of the Undergraduate College. At her core, Arti is dedicated to helping young people succeed. If you haven't already, I encourage you to read her full bio in the program books. You will see that throughout her work in Chicago Public Schools and on various appointed committees that she's fully invested in first-generation college students and firmly believes in the importance of creating and advocating for space for students like me to thrive. I'm here today having deeply impacted by her leadership and innovation at National Louis University, where she created the undergraduate college, allowing me to thrive and secure a bachelor's degree. Arti, after graduating from Daly, when I was choosing where to pursue my bachelor's degree, I remember thinking, it's gotta be National Louis. Thank you for designing a program that recognizes the experience and credits I was bringing as a transfer student, that was financially accessible, that prepared me to launch my career. Arti, it is my pleasure to recognize you as Bottom Line's 2023 champion for college completion. Bottom Line, thank you for being a part of our community and invite you to come up and say a few words.
All right, well, thank you, Joshua, for your very kind and generous words, and good evening, everyone. Okay, so we're in this beautiful room tonight with a lot of beautiful people celebrating a wonderful organization and a whole lot of amazing students. So I think there's a whole lot more energy in this room than I just heard. So let's try that again. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Thank you very much. Now listen, students are always a very tough act to follow. So I ask everyone in this room to just bear with me for a few minutes as I try my best to follow the very compelling Joshua. But first, let me start by saying a personal congratulations to Joshua on your graduation from National Louis University with a bachelor's in computer science and on your new job at Northwestern Mutual. I speak on behalf of our whole NLU team in saying just how happy for you we are, how proud of you we are, and we're very honored to have been and to continue to be a part of your journey. And of course, I also want to say congratulations to all the Bottom Line students in the room tonight, particularly those who are part of the college or high school graduating classes of 2023. Both are huge accomplishments and examples of you rising up, so we celebrate you. I also want to thank the Bottom Line team and board for this recognition. I am certainly both humbled and honored, and it means a great deal, both because I have so much respect for Bottom Line as a partner to CPS, to NLU, and to so many other higher ed institutions, but also because this mission of college completion is so important to young people, to parents, to families, to communities, and championing this mission is certainly something that I and everyone in this room care so deeply about, or we wouldn't be here, of course. I do want to talk a bit about the importance of this work for most of my time up here, but before I do that, I want to say a few personal thanks in light of this recognition. I did tell Will that I was very surprised when I first heard about this because I think my strength is getting myself into the orbit of pretty amazing people who are great at what they do and who teach me a great deal. So I do consider this work to be a team sport, and so I want to start with a special shout out to my current and former team members, both from NLU and CPS. And so thank you for everything. And our many funders and partners in the room, I consider all of you to be champions for college completion, and I'm very blessed to work with all of you. I also want to thank a few mentors and bosses because I think I've been very lucky to stand on the shoulders of many giants over the years. So I want to say thanks to Greg Darniter, Naveen Magahed, Brian Fabes, Melissa Zakas, and Eddie Phillips. Thank you all for your support and guidance over the years. And most importantly, especially since it's the week of Mother's Day, but even if it weren't, I would say this, I have to give a special shout out to my mom, Jayshree Thepelia, who's here tonight. So she, along with my dad, came to Chicago over 50 years ago as immigrant refugees from Uganda with nothing but their education. And she is a role model of hard work in servant leadership in all she's done. And because of what she and my dad experienced, she always said that education is the one thing no one can ever take away from you, right? So that lit the fire of education as being a priority for me, so I thank her for that. And I am a big believer in the wise words of Spider-Man's uncle, who once said that with great power comes great responsibility. So while I cannot climb up the sides of tall buildings as much as I'd like to, I do think I've been empowered with incredible educational opportunities. And because of that, I've really just tried to carry forward and create those opportunities for others throughout my career. Now, that being said, I want to move back to the importance of this mission of college completion. And I want to share a bit about what I've learned from many of our students at NLU. So every year, we have a student advisory council, which is comprised of about 15 top students out of the nearly 4,000 in the college. And they are student leaders who meet with me monthly to tell us how we can do better as a college. And they certainly do speak their minds, which I do appreciate on most days. But one of the things I also ask these students to do is to write and share their leadership stories. And that is their journey of the people and experiences that shaped them into who they are today and the vision for where they want to go. So I've heard about 75 of these stories over the past 7 years, and consistently, 2 things strike me in every single story. The first is that every single student has overcome a lot to get to college and is navigating a lot while in college, whether it is working multiple jobs while in school, taking care of a sibling or parent or their own child, overcoming an illness, or dealing with food insecurity or housing insecurity. Our students carry a lot, and still they're high-performing students. The second thing is that despite all that our students tend to carry, every single student has talked about wanting to succeed in college. Why? So that they can eventually give back to their families and make an impact in their communities. Their goal is completely selfless, to give back to the people who poured into them. And it gives me so much hope that this is our next generation of leaders who really care, and it makes me want to do more. And personally, I believe that the unique strengths and experiences that they bring will make them better contributors to the workforce than most people. Think about their ability to multitask, their work ethic, their resilience, compassion, their empathy, their wisdom, right? And I also believe that their college degrees will help them access more opportunities than they otherwise would have. So those are just a few students. There are countless more in this room, across the city, and around the country who show us the importance of the work not only of Bottom Line, but everybody championing college completion. Our students have the talent, and we all have to work harder and together to ensure they have opportunities. Now listen, there is a lot of hype out there in politics and the media that maybe college isn't necessary anymore, asking, do you really need a college degree these days? So obviously I am biased, given my job, But this question drives me crazy, right? As someone who's been involved in this work for over 15 years, my ask of you is please don't believe the hype. The first, and I say that for two reasons. The first reason is people never seem to question the importance of college when talking about their own kids. It's only when talking about other people's kids, because their own kids are going to go to college, right? So think about that. The second reason is that the data proves the hype is wrong. It has been proven that there is a $1.2 million lifetime earnings gap between an individual who earns a bachelor's degree relative to an individual who earns a high school diploma. Another study found that a college degree leads not only to greater health, wealth, and happiness for an individual, but it also benefits society through higher tax revenues, stronger levels of civic and community involvement, and safer communities. And while it is absolutely true, there are certainly some jobs, great jobs and careers you can get without a college degree, and that's totally fine if a student makes an informed choice to go that path. It's also true that not every young person can choose that path because 70% of today's and tomorrow's jobs require a college degree. So college does matter. And as many of us have heard many times, it is a cliche by now in these circles, right? Talent is distributed equally, but opportunity is not. And I do believe education is the greatest equalizer we have because education gives you opportunity, it gives you power, and it gives you a voice that can be heard. And every young person deserves the opportunity to access and complete college so that they are empowered to use their voice in whatever career and life path they choose. So, if you are looking to get involved in a bigger way beyond tonight, the last thing I want to say is what a gift and privilege it is to be involved in this work. I truly believe that you will always find, when you open your heart to support others, there's always a little more room in it. And you actually gain more than you give, whether it is through what you personally learn from a student or whether it's how your entire community benefits from a more educated citizenry whom you've helped to empower. So whether you're mentoring students or hiring students or funding this work, however you can open your heart to this mission of college completion, or if you're already doing this work, maybe open the door a little wider. It all matters for students like Joshua and so many others, and you will gain more than you give. So I'm grateful to Bottom Line for the critical work they do with students and CPS and NLU and so many other partners who value Bottom Line so much. And again, I thank Bottom Line for this recognition, and I thank all of you for opening your hearts to our city's young people to help them rise up. Thank you.
All right, can we give another round of applause to Artie? Thank you so much, Artie, and congratulations on your well-deserved honor. Such inspiration and truth. Really appreciate you. All right, so we're going to continue moving along with our program. And again, you can give all night to Bottom Line. And additionally, I wanted to mention that we have a raffle going on. And so if you're interested in putting your name in the hat for that raffle, you can do that right now. The grand prize is, you can see pictures on the screen, we have a lovely 7-day, 6-night stay at this beautiful Vermont vacation home. I personally have never been to Vermont, but I would go if I won this raffle. I don't know if I can actually put my name in the hat, but Mom, can you? My mom, I think she can put it in there for us. But no, I heard that Vermont is beautiful in the spring, and so again, this is the grand prize. So the raffle is open right now, and everyone is encouraged to put your name in the hat. All right, so with that said, I would like to turn things over to Ms. Rory Hill, our Bottom Line student moderator from DePaul University, who is going to introduce a very engaging panel discussion. So Rory, you can come up to the stage.
Hi everyone, I hope you're having a great evening so far at Bottom Line's Rise Up celebration. My name is Rory Hill and I'm a Bottom Line student currently attending DePaul University as a sophomore, soon to be junior, majoring in English. Majoring in English with plans to attend law school after undergrad to become an attorney. My connection to Bottom Line means a lot to me and runs deep. When I was just a sophomore in high school, my older brother Kobe became a Bottom Line student, utilizing their amazing resources as a high school access student and then a success student in college. Like my brother, I was also an access student and I am currently a Bottom Line success student. I like to consider myself a second-generation Bottom Line student, which many of us can relate to as there are a lot of families who take part in Bottom Line's program. As focused on through Bottom Line's work, education is very important. In my family and other families, there is not always an opportunity for people of color and/or people of low-income backgrounds to attend higher education. And even after finally being accepted, it was difficult to know what to do in a new world. There are still questions I do not know the answers to and help I need as a low-income student of color. My Bottom Line advisors answered all of my questions, big and small, and taught me good practices for attending college, especially on DePaul's quarter system. The advice I received was then used for my students when I TA during the autumn quarter. Like Chicago's train system, Bottom Line creates and maintains connections with students and advisors from all parts of the Chicago area. Although I have a different advisor than when I first started as an access student and as a success student, the connections I have do not end there. With every advisor, they have remembered details that could be forgettable to some. All of my advisors make sure I know what is available to me and that I'm putting my best self forth so I can achieve my short and long-term goals. Tonight, we are in good company with great women, and I hope once I become an attorney, I can sit on this stage as a panelist and give back to the organization that does so much for me. It's my pleasure to share the stage tonight with Lisa, Vicky, Jamia, and Kristen. I'm so happy to be sharing the stage with all of you tonight. Can we start with each of you sharing your connection to Bottom Line's mission and a little bit about your current role and the company you work for?
Sure, I'll go first. I'm Lisa Davidson, and I'm newly familiar with Bottom Line, but I was excited to hear about it because I not only am a first-generation college student, but I also grew up in Albany Park in a one-bedroom apartment and graduated from CPS.
Oh. Hi, everybody. My name is Kristen Ng, and I am, we're gonna go with this. I am the Vice President of Technology and Data at the Avid Center. I recently joined the board of Bottom Line, the Regional Advisory Board of Chicago. I did this because the nonprofit I'm at has a very similar mission to Bottom Line. During the pandemic, a lot of people baked bread. I went on a very long professional development spree. And via that spree, I did the All-State Foundation, thank you, Eric Brandt, in the house, All-State Foundation and Kellogg Executive Leadership Program. And from that, I met a contact and colleague that I got in touch with, and I said, hey, do you know any other education nonprofits that I might get engaged in? And he had introduced me to Will, and that was it for me. And so I'm happy to be here. Thank you, everyone.
You know, I'm just going to say, I just realized I actually didn't tell you what I'm doing today. I am an office broker at a global real estate firm called Savills, and I'm on the Chicago leadership team and also part of the Savills North American board.
Wonderful. Good evening, everyone. My name is Vicki Depp. I am currently the Vice President of Operations at Northwestern Medicine at their Academic Medical Center downtown. I was actually tapped into Bottom Line through Kristen right here. We are together part of a women's professional organization, but once she really told me about the Bottom Line mission, it really identified and really struck a chord with me. I immigrated to the US in 1980 with my family. You know, very traditional immigrant story where my parents were very blue-collared and didn't come from much. I'm the first person that graduated and didn't have the means that I think Bottom Line provides to so many students. And for me, it resonated, and I wanted to come here and really be able to support this organization.
I am Jamia Cunningham Elder. I am the Chief Executive Officer of North Lawndale College Prep, and I am connected to Bottom Line because we have students in the Bottom Line program. I am a product of CPS. I went to Jones College Prep. College was never a question because Jones made sure that college was never a question. And so what I do day to day is make sure that college is not a question for our students either.
Thank you all so much for sharing. As I mentioned in my introduction, having a Bottom Line advisor by my side, cheering me on and empowering me throughout college means the world to me. Who were your mentors and supporters from your time in college, and what did their mentorship mean to you? And Lisa, I would love to start with your story about mentors and supporters.
Yeah, so I had a really unlikely mentor and supporter. When I was a senior in high school, in May of my senior year, it dawned on me, when are they going to talk to me about college? And so I went to our college office and I asked about it, and the woman in the office said, well, the only deadline that hasn't passed is Northeastern. And so I said, okay, well, you know, I guess that's where I'm going to go. And I was fortunate enough to get in, and it was actually right down the street from my house, and I had a great experience. But my mentor, about halfway, you know, I would say like my sophomore year of college, I refer to him as Maury the hot dog man. So Maury Andes was a man in my neighborhood since I was 5 years old who had a hot dog stand. And my mom brought me to his hot dog stand, practically it felt like on a daily basis. And I went to his hot dog stand my entire, all the way through high school, you know, through college, because while I was at college, I lived at home, I commuted to school. And one day, Maury said to me, Lisa, I know your interests, you're a smart girl, you ought to go to Northwestern. And I had no idea, I didn't even know the names of other colleges. I had no idea where Northwestern was, what it was. And so I picked up the phone and I took my bus and 2 trains to Northwestern. I brought a friend and visited and applied for my Pell Grants, secretly hoping that I would not get the financial aid because it was kind of scary once I visited. But I did, and that really, I felt like ended up being a pivotal point in my life that changed the trajectory, and was grateful for that just one conversation from Maury.
Well, I could talk about my mentors. So I will say I had 3 wonderful mentors throughout my career, but I actually lacked mentors in my earlier years. In college and high school, I relied on fathers of my best friends or counselors at high school to help me navigate FAFSA and all the different barriers. I think Mr. Clone talked about that earlier, about the many systematic barriers to get into school. And, you know, with a parent that was at home, one was waiting tables, one was bagging groceries, like they barely spoke English. And so you're navigating school as an immigrant child by yourself, you know? And so, but looking back, if you ask me about mentors, it's so important for organizations like Bottom Line to exist, to really be able to fill that gap. And mentors, if I don't want to leave this topic without saying they're crucial to any person's development. I've had 3 very incredible mentors throughout my career, and I still am in touch with them to this day, but they help me navigate, you know, what are the options out there? Because if you don't have those mentors, you don't know. And you only kind of know the basics. And so they kind of navigate you through the politics, give you the honest feedback, and tell you, truthfully, what are the career paths that you can take. And without those mentors, I probably wouldn't be where I am today. Yeah.
My mentor, I went to Lake Forest College, and my mentor was Dr. Judy Dozier. I talk to her to this day. She was in charge of the African American Studies program, and I just remember sophomore year, I swear half of Lake Forest College was walking around with Malcolm X in their hand in the cafeteria. And if you don't know Lake Forest College, it's a predominantly white institution, and right now they have an African American Studies major, but when I was there, it was only a minor, it was only offered. And it was the first time that I had taken a class that was about people that looked like me, from a woman that looked like me. And while I was there in my college experience, I'm realizing for the first time in my life that education is a gift. And I read Malcolm X, and he essentially said, like, if you want to hide anything from anyone, put it in a book, right? Because people who don't know how to read and who can't access education, you can basically tell them anything. But once you learn how to read, once you can educate yourself, you can learn anything. And so she was able to give me that gift. And then something from your story struck me. When I was thinking about my experience at Jones, like I said, I knew I was going to college. So did all of my classmates. The difference between me and some of my best friends to this day is because my parents were college educated, I knew about scholarships. I knew to be in the counselor's office. So when I'm taking Judy Dozier's class and I'm learning about Malcolm X and I'm figuring out for the first time education is a gift, I'm running this parallel process with my friends who are first-generation college students who have taken out so many loans because they didn't know any better, who have missed deadlines, who had to get themselves to places because their parents didn't know any better. And that was really the central part for me of saying something like Bottom Line, or the role that I do now as CEO for North Lawndale College Prep, is about giving as many students the access to the mentorship and the means to understand the social dynamics of college, because it's not just about can you get in, it's about how do you navigate this and how can you afford it and how can you do it in a way that's not going to put you behind when you're done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you all so much. I see myself and just so much in all of you, which I appreciate you all for sharing. Lisa, as a student with Bottom Line, it is recognized that the experience of being a first-generation student doesn't end at graduation. You've worked in the same industry your entire career and worked at Savills for the majority of the time. What pieces of your experience as a CPS grad and as a first-generation college graduate show up in your work every day?
Well, I would say that both being a CPS graduate and a first-generation college student, you have to have a mix of, I'm going to say, grit, as well as some optimism and hope that things are going to, if you do the right thing, things are going to come together. And I will tell you that in my daily career as an office broker, it involves sales, it involves business development, as well as negotiating some really tough deals. And so on a daily basis, especially in today's market where nobody wants to go back to the office, that it involves on a daily basis in my career having that grit, having the optimism and the hope that it's all going to come together if you just keep doing the right thing and try to show up as your best self every day.
After hearing Lisa's story, Vicki, what advice do you have for Bottom Line students who are first generation, from low-income backgrounds, and students of color, as they explore possible paths, graduate, and prepare to launch a career? Why is it important for leaders like you to partner with Bottom Line and other organizations like Bottom Line?
Great question, Lori. I would say the first probably advice I would give is to never underestimate your potential or your worth. Coming from a low-income, first generation, or background of color, you might have additional challenges in your life, but you also bring a different perspective and resiliency and richness to any career path you choose. And for me in healthcare, it's very important. We treat all kinds of people, right? Diversity is a strength. It's not meant to be a limitation. I think secondly, I would say always seek additional opportunities to grow and to learn. I had a mentor who told me once, you know, always say yes when someone taps you on the shoulder. I would take that a step further and say, be proactive, be curious, open-minded, seek out those opportunities. If you're navigating career paths now, you know, take advantage of internships. I think the video said externships as well. But, you know, mentorship programs and networking opportunities. I mean, education doesn't stop when you graduate. You know, be a lifetime learner. It's a journey. Believe me, it's a journey. And you want to just ensure that, you know, you have the growth mindset to get you through that. And then third, I would say find and nurture your passion. You know, your career is going to provide a livelihood for you, but you're going to spend a lot of time doing it. So you want to spend time doing something that inspires you, something that fills your cup, and makes you want to get up and work every day, right? I'm fortunate to work in healthcare. There's a lot of different paths in healthcare, so, you know, where you can make a difference in the lives of people, and you either provide direct patient care, you can work on healthcare reform, you can do clinical research and really advance healthcare, or you can manage operations like me, but like there's so many different ways. But find what sparks joy in you. And I guess your second question about why partner with Bottom Line, I think it's very clear and very evident. Talent is everywhere. I mean, look around the room. There's so many students that really could provide and have so much potential. Unfortunately, the opportunities are not as evident. And it's really incumbent upon all of us to create that space where everyone has the opportunity to really fulfill their greatest potential. And partnering with organizations like Bottom Line, they fill that gap, right? They're providing the resources and the support and the the guidance, really, to get into college, to succeed in college, to launch a career. So partnering with Bottom Line for people like us, it's really incumbent upon leaders today to share your knowledge, to share your experiences with the next generation of leaders, especially those of underrepresented communities, because we need to level the playing field. We need to make it easier so they don't have to go through what we went through.
Yes, most definitely. I appreciate that. Thank you. Through Bottom Line, so many students also look to people in your position, Jamia, as you are the CEO of North Lawndale College Prep and have devoted so much of your career to educational equity in the city of Chicago. What motivates you each day to show up in your role?
The kids. The kids, I have to get up for them because like you said, I know what is at stake for them, and I would say for our students, particularly on the West Side, it's life or death. Like sometimes we say that, and it's not a joke. Education is really the equalizer. Education is the thing that can pull them out of poverty. Education is the thing that gets you to be an informed citizen. And again, to what the award recipient said earlier, she said, yeah, I get that question all the time. Like, are you sure college for your students? And I'm like, tell me where anyone who has a college prep education is doing worse, right? Even if you don't go to college, but you know how to read, write, think critically, explain the math problems, look at your own budget and say, hey, I don't have enough money. You can't tell me that somebody's gonna do worse by getting the college prep education. So I do it because I know there are a lot of, I loved how you say it, like like that's the new trend of like, do we all need college? Yes, it's so much easier to be on this side, and I am college educated and I have a master's degree, and what I'm saying is I sit before you and say, I never questioned if I could do it because my parents did it. So absolutely, like I feel very passionate about it, absolutely, because nobody questions it when you're on the other side. You only question it for kids who you think can't do it. And I believe and I know our students can do it. And you're proof, right?
Yes.
You're proof.
Thank you. Thank
Can I
you.
ad-lib off of that real quick? I really appreciate what you said about, and the continuing thread that we have about the importance of college, especially with what we're hearing now is like, is it necessary? Can you do something else? Is it affordable? My answer to that is that, yes, of course, it's not right for everybody, but the importance to me and the importance and I'll share a little bit later about where I'm working and why and where the intersection is for me and Bottom Line, is that in order to get to the C-suite, in order to get a seat at the table and to have your voice represented and to have representation across the board in diversity and that perspective inclusion, you're going to need a college degree to get to that seat.
Absolutely. Yep.
So I think that it's really important to know that the long game is that representation so that you can have that voice at the seat, and it will require a college degree more often than not.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And then also Bottom Line for me opened so many doors I didn't think that would be possible had I not been a Bottom Line student. So Kristen, as a Bottom Line student, trust me when I say support from our sponsors and members in higher position means a lot. You recently joined Bottom Line's Regional Advisory Board. How did you get connected to Bottom Line, and what drew you to the board, and what are your hopes for the future of Bottom Line?
Sure. So I shared briefly that I was introduced to Bottom Line through a professional development program, and met Will, and the answer was yes. Met with Alejandro. I just kept on talking to people until they let me in. Right now, I work at the Avid Center, and we are an educational nonprofit, and we provide professional learning to educators directly. And we serve the same population. We have the same mission. It's to provide the opportunity, knowledge, the training, the pedagogy, how to relate and teach and have certain strategies to engage with students so that they are aware of what's possible for them. If you're a first generation college student, often you don't have the same norms. You don't have the knowledge of what's out there, what's possible for you, or the networks. And so we work with teachers directly to bring that into the classroom, whereas Bottom Line works directly with the students. And I think that, saying many tributaries, all roads lead to Rome. And I think when you start thinking about education as the great equalizer, there are many different interventions, many different solutions for getting students in that pathway. And what really resonated with me is that the missions were very much aligned, but our conduits into the work were different. And I think, I think it was RD that said, it takes a village, right? It takes many different people, many different sponsors, many different mentors, advisors, anyone who can be put into a toolkit for a student to show them that there's more out there, that they have choice, really resonates with me. As many have said, education is a great equalizer despite the systems, the circumstances, the history, whatever it may be. The access and equity to college is super important. And so that really resonated with me because when you're thinking about it from an ecosystem and from a systemic approach, it's that collective impact of these interventions, of these programs together that are really going to bolster and rise all ships. So that's what really spoke to me, and thanks for taking me on the board.
And then any hopes for the future of Bottom Line?
The hopes for the future of Bottom Line is I hope they grow and continue to do the great work and expand, and look into understanding where partnerships may make sense for them for growth. There's so much that you all do, the advisors, the staff, super talented. I just want it to get bigger, however that may be. Very much needed.
I like your hopes for Bottom Line. I definitely appreciate that. So we have a couple of minutes left, and as you all know, the theme of tonight is Rise Up. As women who connect to Bottom Line's message in so many ways, what does Rise Up mean to each of you?
Well, to me, Rise Up really means going forward, and going forward in a way where you're endeavoring to be the best version of yourself at that moment, and that is something that will change and evolve throughout your lifetime.
That's very succinct, and I apologize in advance because I've got a story and 2 challenges about to happen here. So short story is that at Avid, I am the executive sponsor and co-lead for our Women in Leadership ERG. And we were chatting about it, we're just kicking it off, and someone's like, oh, we should have a tagline. Great. And so I think many of you probably have heard, empowered women empower women, right? If you haven't, it's a thing, it's out there, it's on a lot of books, and people sell stuff with it on it. And we have a pretty great open, psychologically safety space where we can chat and push as long as it's respectful. And I questioned that and I kind of ruminated on it, and I don't mean to be pedantic, but I really got fixated on the word empowered, because empowered, when you look it up, it means to bestow or to grant or give power to somebody. And I also have heard it in this space as well. And I like to push back against that because our students, the students are going through these experiences. You all are already powerful. You don't need to be granted or given power. It is in you. It is in the natural grit that you have, the opportunities you're seeking out, the experiences that are not the best, but you continue on. And so the challenge to the students in the room, I challenge you to keep that with you, to know that you don't need to be empowered. You need access, you need opportunity, you need equity, you need champions. You don't need power. You have that in yourself. And so when you struggle in tougher times, with maybe imposter syndrome, and believe me, I have it.
Yes.
It pops up for me all the time. I gotta tamper that down, and I have to believe in myself, and I have to be gritty and lean on some resilience to make it through. But please don't ever think that someone needs to grant you power. You have it. So that is my challenge to you in those tougher times. Please lean on that. And the second challenge is not for the students, but for those in the room who have gone on to careers and have been giving back in many different ways. I challenge you again, rise up a little bit more. We've stood on the shoulders of giants, right? But there's more to come. So who and what are we going to do to pave that pathway for the next generation? And I say this, it doesn't have to be money, right? It could be volunteering, it could be being a mentor, it could be finding out what works for you to spark that joy so you can bring that contribution into this larger community. Because when our students become, when they're sitting in our seats, that's gonna be their job too.
Incredible. Okay, it's really hard to follow her, but I'm gonna just try. I will say Rise Up has that dual meaning for me as well. I think, no matter what background you have, there's people that have certain adversities that they have to break through. And Rise Up for me is like, how do you come out on the other side of that through sheer grit, motivation, determination that you're gonna succeed. I mean, show me a person that's willing to work hard that doesn't succeed, right? On the other side, and really tagging on to what Kristen mentioned earlier, it's about, also us as leaders, us as folks that have been through the trenches, how do we pave that way for others? It should not be easier. I mean, it should not be difficult for others to follow our path. It should be easier, and not only easier, but, how do we make it so it's a non-issue? There is so much talk about this equity piece of it, and I'm glad that there's talk, but there's a lot more work that needs to be done to truly make it systematically equal, and it's not there yet. And so really challenge us to think about how do we continue to follow in the footsteps of organizations like Bottom Line to make it truly equal for us to get access to education, but access to care, access to what we need to live amongst everyone as an equal. Yeah.
Well, so Rise Up means two things for me today. So one, I will put in the plug, Rise Up means make your gift tonight for Bottom Line. because that's what we're here for. But also Rise Up means for everybody in this room, you never know who's looking. And so the first question you ask is like, why do you do the thing you do? On the days that it's hard or the days that I have the imposter syndrome, it's because I have to believe that when I rise up, someone else is going to rise with me. And even for the students in the room, you don't know who's watching you, who the next generation is who's watching you, because I swear I'm still you. I can't believe I'm sitting on this panel, right? And you're probably looking at me thinking, wow, she's great. I mean, I hope you're looking at me thinking, wow, she's great, right?
Great.
But if that's what you're thinking about me, just know that I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what am I doing up here, right? And so you're just one step away.
Yes.
Just keep going. And then we have to keep going. And that's what that means for me too.
Yes.
Thank you all so, so much for sharing your stories, experiences, definitions, everything. Everything you shared is just, I won't forget it. I hope you all have enjoyed this moment as much as I did, and thank you all so much for listening.
Thank you, Rory.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. Well, I love nothing more than a powerful group of diverse women empowering and inspiring us. Let's give them a round of applause one more time. Thank you for your stories. Thank you for sharing your journey. And Rory, I know you want to be an attorney, but if you ever think about journalism, we need someone who can ask some good questions. So you got that down. All right, we're going to continue moving along with our program right now. So part of today's celebration is honoring outstanding corporate partners to Bottom Line in championing the organization's mission. And I'm delighted to welcome Raed Amjad, a Bottom Line success student who is currently in a career program at DRW. We're going to bring him to the stage right now to introduce and recognize our corporate honoree. Let's give him a round of applause. You got this.
Good evening. My name is Raed Amjad. I'm a rising sophomore studying finance. I've been in Bottom Line's Success Program, and I'm currently participating in Bottom Line's externship program at DRW. And basically, it's a week-long program, and earlier this week, we started off with touring, and now we're doing a lot of one-on-one, meeting with coworkers. I'm excited to be a part of this externship program because making new connections is important to me, working with others and improving my leadership and communication skills so that I can further expand upon my career choice. I'm excited to be here today to celebrate and recognize DRW as Bottom Line's 2023 Corporate Honoree. DRW, thank you. DRW, thank you for going above and beyond. It is in the ways in which you show up and engage with Bottom Line students that truly sets you apart. From externships to workshops and everything in between, I thank you for your commitment to students like me. Everyone, please give me a round of applause in welcoming Taylor Allen to accept this award on behalf of DRW.
Thank you, Raed. Good evening, everyone. My name is Taylor Allen, and I am here tonight accepting this honor on behalf of DRW and the DRW Foundation. The foundation was founded in 2006, and since its inception, we've been working diligently to support deserving organizations all across the globe. Over the last 2 years especially, we've expanded our philanthropic scope, partnering with dozens of deserving charitable organizations that are providing opportunities and resources to underrepresented individuals in the communities where our employees live and work. Just as this work is important to us as a foundation, it's also equally as important to our employees. I have a couple of my colleagues here tonight, Danielle, Desiree, and Jennifer, who've oftentimes volunteered their time and their talents to help me with volunteer work at the firm. So thank you guys for that as well. All right. So today we are incredibly grateful to have Bottom Line as one of those community partners. Bottom Line is doing incredible and extraordinary work with helping to get students to and through college. Just this past year in Chicago alone, they've served over 1,600 bright, ambitious scholars, helping to get them to and through college in the city of Chicago. So amazing, incredible work. Thank you to Raed, who has been an amazing addition to DRW this week. We're so excited to have him and having him explore so many different career opportunities within the company. We are honored to be a part of making this possible, and we hope to continue to help support outcomes like these with Bottom Line. Thank you so much to Bottom Line for this award, and we are so thankful to be here, so thank you all.
All right, Taylor and DRW, thank you so much for the difference you're making, and congratulations on your recognition and all that you are doing for our young people in the community. All right, so we're now going to dim the lights and hear from some students who, thanks to Bottom Line, have graduated from college and are not only making an impact in their professions, but influencing the next generation of Bottom Line students to rise up.
A lot of weight was off my shoulder graduating. Bringing that diploma home was like, bringing a trophy home. I feel like I have a golden ticket.
It really didn't hit until I was like walking on the stage, being able to look out on the audience and see my family like cheering for me, because we come from a Mexican family, so they're very loud. I think I just felt a lot of emotions. I had that one goal of like graduating, being the first of my family.
I am a first-generation college grad. I know, coming from immigrant parents, how hard it was for them to struggle juggling a bunch of jobs just to provide for us.
I started with Bottom Line in 2014, part of their success program. I was actually one of their first students.
I am an alumni from both their Access and Success program. I didn't know what I was doing at all. So they helped me with getting my essays together, applying for colleges, picking out the colleges I want to go to, filling out my financial aid.
Coming from a low income background, it was kind of scary for me to just be like, yes, I want to go to college, I'll do this on my own, I'll pay for it, and hopefully get some financial aid. How was I going to navigate that? That is one of the things that Bottom Line did help me with yearly.
I did learn a lot from all the advisors that I had throughout my experience to kind of figure out what I like to do. I wouldn't have gotten to that place without my advisors.
My junior year of college, I was ready to start applying to internships. My advisor was helping me navigate that because I never knew what an internship was. She just kind of like helped me with reviewing my resume, my cover letters. She set a time aside to do a mock interview.
It was times where just felt a bit overwhelmed. I failed my first semester and my last semester of my sophomore year, and that was a tough time. One of my advisors, Jackie, was making sure that I'm planning everything, scheduling, making sure I'm getting my homework done. She was always looking out for me.
These obstacles don't have to be educational. Not everybody's life is perfect, and people go through struggles. I felt like it was always nice to have someone behind me, cheering me on and telling me that I can do this.
Bottom Line definitely is a great opportunity for for the youth to prosper.
I made sure that my brother was at my graduation that day so he can see that this is something that he could accomplish one day too. I am helping him with the process. I have all the experience. I'm an expert now thanks to Bottom Line.
Bottom Line has had a ripple effect on my life. One of my goals in life was always to give back to the community. I am currently on the Emerging Leaders Council. I volunteer to help their current students go through the same process that I did.
As a young Latina woman, being able to be a manager for a wealth management firm is a big deal. I've been 5 years in the finance industry and I still see a lack of diversity. So I want to keep pushing forward and make sure that there are people like me who get access to these roles.
Earning the college degree definitely helped my future. All those trials and errors just helped me to become like the man I am today. I was able to rise up and have that motivation. And I realized that I have a purpose bigger than myself. As many people rise up, the community will also rise up.
Whenever I talk about like my college experience, I make sure to talk about Bottom Line. It's a great resource. They're amazing. They only want you to succeed. They really were a strong support system for me. If it wasn't for Bottom Line, I wouldn't be where I am here today.
All right. Will Hobart is coming up to the stage.
I was getting up to the minute texts on donations that are coming in tonight, thanks to many in the room's generosity. Quick update, we are approaching, if not surpassing, the match challenge that Jewel mentioned earlier. Thank you so much. Cheryl Harris, Shantae Williams, Mike Foudies, I'm so sorry about names, Dr. Glenna Temple, Allison Barron, Lewis Fisher, Elizabeth, Chris Broughton, Lyndon T, Mike F, Alejandro. Thank you so much for these generous donations. And also I just got word that we had a $20,000 donation given tonight. So thank you to that individual who wishes to remain anonymous for that amazing contribution. Real quick, I want to keep the program moving, but one thing I did want to just call out in the spirit of fundraising, our raffle that Jewel mentioned earlier is about to close in the next 10 minutes or so. So please, this is your time if you haven't already, purchase your tickets. The QR code in your program book, but also on your table, like you're taking its picture, the link shows up, touch that, it'll take you to the page where you can choose the number of tickets you'd like to purchase. Deep gratitude to Terry Healy on our board for donating this incredible experience. And so all the money that's raised from this will go to Bottom Line. Thank you. All right. I don't know about you all, but I'm still sitting with the video that we just saw. I want to take a moment to recognize Cedric, Amy, and Angela for courageously sharing your authentic stories with us tonight in that beautiful video. Angela, I believe you're here tonight, so I want to recognize you. Thank you. Congratulations on all that you've accomplished and for giving back to the organization in so many powerful ways. We are motivated by the impactful relationships with Bottom Line advisors that each of the alumni in the video spoke to. Hearing each of them share how the staff at Bottom Line played an important and transformative role in your quest humbles us and serves as a ginormous motivator for us to continue to raise resources so that our advisors can continue to have long-term, deeply engaging partnerships with talented students. To borrow a quote from one of our panelists about grow, it's about sustain as well, and your gifts ensure that the program that we do, our success program, is not just one semester of college, it's not just that first year, it's all the way through up to 6 years. And so once we invest in a student as a freshman, we are committed to them until they receive their bachelor's and earn their bachelor's degree. We are thrilled that the students in this video, the alums in this video, have found their passions and their career paths that tap into your unique abilities. Congratulations to all of you, and thank you. I want to turn now, oops, I already did that. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce the current chair of the Chicago Advisory Board, Alejandro Longoria, and one of the inaugural board members of the Chicago region and the immediate past chair, John Van Gorp, to the stage to share more about the Chicago Bottom Line Life Trustee distinction and tonight's honoree.
I know all the organizers are starting to freak out because they told me to keep this very short and they just saw me pull a piece of paper out of my pocket. And for the younger people in the room, I know that it doesn't make sense to have a piece of paper because I should just use the Notes app on my phone, but I can see this better. So good evening, everyone. My name is Alejandro Longoria, or Alejandro Longoria. I'm the chair of the Chicago Region Advisory Board of Bottom Line. The part I'm not supposed to jump into, but I would be very remiss if I didn't add my voice to the chorus of thank yous for everyone in this room. We really appreciate everyone coming out to support and celebrate our students, and to our students and our student ambassadors and our alumni and our staff. Thank you for inspiring us. Thank you for the incredible work you do that makes this the amazing organization that it is. I've been on the board for over 6 years now, and I've seen so many board members unselfishly devote themselves to Bottom Line. And as we've mentioned before, Bottom Line is going to embark on its 10th year in Chicago this summer, which is just amazing. So as we approach this milestone, the board is very excited to launch the Life Trustee Honor. This honor recognizes past board members who have served with distinction and excellence. The board members have gone above and beyond to raise critical awareness and funding for the organization, and to position Bottom Line to have great influence and connections among key leaders, organizations, and businesses. Tonight, we are thrilled to recognize and honor John Skinner, CEO of PSB Partners, as the inaugural Life Trustee for Bottom Line Chicago. John has generously given his time, his talent, and his financial support, as well as participated in a wide range of Bottom Line program activities and fundraising events over the last 6 years. We are very grateful for John's leadership and are looking forward to his continued engagement with Bottom Line. Congratulations, John. So I'm now going to turn this over to our former board chair, John Van Gorp, who initially recruited John Skinner to the board, and he's going to share more about the other John.
Thanks, everyone. I'm John Van Gorp, and it's an honor to be here tonight honoring John. I'm going to correct in a second something Alejandro said, but first let me tell you a bit about John, and I'm staring at his family as I say this. John has 2 speeds, on and off. And I've learned that that's been consistent his whole life. So John was a Division I football player. If you look at his build, it is somewhat obvious, but I had to check that out. So I rode bikes with one of our common friends who played football with him in college, and I said, tell me a little bit about John. And he said, he just ran over people. He was a fullback. He was a road grader. He just ruined practice. He only had 1 speed, on and off. I remember John telling me that his daughter had gotten into rowing, which was a sport I wasn't familiar with. Neither was John. Soon, John's driving the rowing team around the country. He's their biggest fan, and all 3 of his children are rowing at some of America's most elite universities. Again, John's family is on or off. John's been incredibly successful in his career with multiple stops at various places. He had multiple jobs at William Blair, always a success. He had multiple jobs prior to that. He's this huge success in his current role, but he really believes in value-based leadership, which I really admire him for. He's always believed in not just doing a good job for the institution you're working for, but being a change agent in the community where you live and work as well. So I remember playing golf with John, must have been 8 years ago, and he said, I'm involved in Bottom Line. And of course, if John's involved, he's on. And it didn't take him long to convince me that I wanted to be involved too. He was passionate about the organization. It made sense to him. The data-driven approach, the experience that went back to our early plant in Boston and then New York and now Chicago, where he was one of the first board members, how we were able to take kind of the middle class of students who needed access to college and needed the persistence to complete college, how we were able to raise their chances significantly of getting a degree after starting college and getting a job. It was compelling to me. And so John recruited me to the board. That's how it really happened. And I went on to serve in Alejandro's role for several years, and now I'm still on the board, and I'm passionate about this organization, and I've got my on switch on. So, John, I'd like to invite you up, please, and I'd like everybody to recognize John. This is a giant of the organization, and I'm delighted that he's going to be, excuse me, our first life trustee in Chicago, hopefully one of many, and will continue to be involved in the organization. Please help me in recognizing John Skinner.
I too have some notes, which might surprise my colleagues at PSP, who are pretty used to me just letting it rip. I want to start by thanking Will and Alejandro and John. I think probably the most impactful thing I've done for Bottom Line over the years is to recruit John Van Gorp. You're a great friend and a real values-based leader yourself. It's awesome to see what you've done as a board chair and continue to do for the organization. Thank you. I want to thank the rest of our Bottom Line team and board members for who you are and what you do. Your commitment to the organization, how you show up every day in support of the students we serve is truly inspiring, just awesome. Thank you. I also would be remiss if I didn't take note of all of our students who are up here on stage. It's tough to be up here. Even at my age and stage, it's tough to be up here, and you all crushed it. Joshua, Riyadh, and Rory. Rory, I mean it. You have whatever you do, whether it's the law or a career in media, you're going to just crush it, that's for sure. I want to thank tonight's panelists also for a great conversation. That was really inspiring, and I think reminded all of us of what the future can look like for the people we serve at Bottom Line. It's really fantastic. And to all of the students who are here tonight, it's an honor and a privilege to be surrounded by you. It's amazing to hear your stories, and you're the reason why we're here, so thank you. I also want to thank our teams at PSP Partners and the Pritzker Traubert Foundation, notably Penny Pritzker, Brian Traubert, and my colleagues who are here tonight. Thank you for being great teammates every day, for showing up every day and supporting me. I really appreciate it. And also for the great work you're doing and we're doing for all to support community-led change in Chicago's South and West Side. The impact of the Pritzker Traubert Foundation, many of you probably know, and for those who you don't know, I'll tell you it's phenomenal, and it's a real testament to Penny, her family, and Cindy and all the people who work at PTF. Thank you. We'll move quickly through this and hopefully be somewhat brief. I most importantly want to thank my family, and thank you, John, for making note of my family. They're the most important people in the world to me. I've got my wife, Karin, here, and my daughter, Hannah. Our sons, Peter and Jack, are actually rowing, shockingly. That is what they're doing. So they weren't able to join us training for a couple of different regattas they'll be participating in. But Karin, Hannah, and for Peter and Jack, your love and support inspire me every day to be a better person and to keep trying to make a positive difference in the lives of others. I'm really grateful for you. Thank you. It is extremely humbling for me to be up here tonight and to receive this honor. It's been a pleasure to have served on the board for almost 10 years. The great friendships that I've made and the impact that I've seen the organization have as we've grown in Chicago has been fantastic. I do hope that in my time on the board I've been helpful. I really do. The mission of Bottom Line is personal to me. I owe my career and pretty much all of the good things that have happened in my life to the educational opportunities that were made available to me and to my sister Amanda, who is the CEO of a nonprofit in New England. The opportunities we have were the direct result of the commitment to education of my mother, Margaret Skinner, who herself was a first-generation college student and graduate. Artie, I am confident that my mother and your mother would get along very well. I feel like you were speaking her language. That was great. I do believe that these same opportunities I had and that my kids have should be available to all students everywhere, and that's what I love about what we're doing at Bottom Line. Reflecting on my time on the board, it's remarkable how many thousands of students we have served and have helped along the way, and yet there's still a lot of work that needs to be done, and the support of everyone here in this room, coming here with your time, and hopefully continuing to contribute to the organization tells me we're on the right track for sure, as does, most importantly, the time I spend and what I hear from the students we serve. Just really, really amazing. So Joshua, Maria, everyone I've met tonight, thank you for everything you do to support the commitment we have. I'll just end by saying I'm excited to continue to support Bottom Line as a life trustee. Actually makes me feel kind of old to say something like that. But I'll go with it. It's a nice trophy to bring home. And to see the organization's impact on future generations of students here in Chicago continue to grow. So thank you again. I'm really grateful and very humbled for tonight. Thank you.
All right, congratulations, John, and all those who have worked with him in this continued effort to make Bottom Line strive and thrive. All right, so please bear with me. I've got some breaking news, okay, which I probably would typically have tonight, but this is the kind of breaking news that I really enjoy. So I wanted to mention that we have our raffle winners, and so we have 2 runner-ups. And I hope that you all are still here. So runner-up number 1 is Daniel Aneo. Is Daniel Aneo in the room? There, I believe he's back there. And then we have Kristen Velasquez is our second runner-up. Okay, and so our runner-ups, they get a Bottom Line swag bag, which includes a student-designed tote bag as well as a notebook featuring student art. So congratulations to you. I believe there's also a Rise Up fleece and a Bottom Line Yeti for you to enjoy. All right, so my name and my mother's name are not on the grand prize winner, but that's okay. That's okay. Our Vermont winner, our grand prize winner, is Catherine Mullen. Is Catherine Mullen still here? Catherine, are you here? She is not. Darn. Okay, please, yes, let her know. That's all. I wish there were more. But our winners, they can go to the registration table to pick up their gifts. Also, in the next breaking news story that I have for you, I got a message that we have another anonymous donor who is matching up to $5,000. So thank you to that person. Let's give them a round of applause. That is awesome, awesome, awesome. We also want to acknowledge Lisa Davidson, who has made a contribution and investment of $1,000 to Bottom Line. Let's give her a round of applause. As well as Janice Jackson, who has invested $500 to Bottom Line. Thank you all so very much. So we somehow are at the end of our program. This has been wonderful. I want to keep going, but it's at the end. So I just want to share some final remarks with you all, and just some takeaways that college is important. I think that we've seen that tonight. We've heard that from our students. We've heard that from our honorees, the many people who have invested into this organization. And no one can take away your education. Someone mentioned that this evening, and that is so very true. They can take away a lot, but they can't take what you have gained and what you have learned through your academics and through your life experiences. And so I just want to thank you so much for joining us tonight for this fantastic event. I have certainly enjoyed myself and learned so much and have truly been inspired by the fantastic work that Bottom Line has been involved in for nearly a decade now. Now, we often hear so much about things that we want to see different in society, but we don't always take the time to invest tangibly or financially. But Bottom Line has stepped up to the plate, and we are all invited, as you can see here tonight, to join in. And as I mentioned earlier, it truly takes a village to see results and change, and we can all be a part of the impact that Bottom Line is making. We still need more people of color and those who come from humble and diverse upbringings on college campuses and in professional leadership positions to offer insight and perspective lacking in corporate America and other factions of society. Bottom Line is making that a reality. Getting to and through college is not easy, but Bottom Line is paving out a path to help minimize the challenges and to make the future brighter for students and their families. So again, I just want to congratulate all of our honorees, our students, our educators, our investors, the Bottom Line team, everyone who has helped organize this wonderful event tonight. That is this organization pouring so much good into our young people. And before I wrap up, I just wanted to mention that Bottom Line is recruiting for the next generation of Bottom Line students. And so if you know any students out there that you feel would be a good fit to go through this program, I encourage you to reach out to Will and the folks at Bottom Line to get them on board with the organization. Once again, thank you so very much for having me as your MC this evening. I have truly enjoyed myself. I have enjoyed learning so much about Bottom Line, and I hope that you have a wonderful trip home. Be safe, and thank you, thank you, thank you.